on with a warm, rousing round of applause, Minister Randy Muhammad. Thank you for your time. That's all we
All praises are due to Allah. Yes, sir. Let us give Brother James, Brother Taqwa, and who else was up there earlier? Daniel. Brother Daniel. Sister Carla. Let's give them all a warm round of applause. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent and Merciful, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, the revealer of all truth, the sender of all prophets, the God of Abraham, the God of Moses, the God of Jesus, and the God of Muhammad. Peace be upon all of these great and worthy servants of Almighty God. We thank Allah for each and every one of them. And we thank Allah for the divine revelation that God has sent through these men, that we have their words contained for us in the form of the Bible and Holy Quran, great books of wisdom, that if we believe in God, we can go into these books and extract the wisdom and use that wisdom as a guide and a guidance for the life that God has given us, that we may be successful. So we thank Allah, and as Muslims, we make no distinction between any of the prophets of God. However, as black people, members of the original indigenous people here in the wilderness of North America, we represent a very special people who have undergone a very special set of circumstances. But we represent a people who have been totally destroyed, right? And who exist today in a destroyed state.
Right about that.
But we've been robbed of our names, our language, our culture, the knowledge of our God, our history, and our identity. And we have been turned upside down and inside out, and left in the midst of an open enemy who has used and abused us every day that we've been here.
Yes, sir.
So we thank Almighty God, the God of Abraham, Moses, Jesus, and Muhammad, for the fact that He's seen us in our condition and saw fit to intervene in our affairs. We thank Him for coming in the person of Master Fard Muhammad, the great Mahdi that was to come, whom we loudly and proudly proclaim to the world, He has come. We thank Him for choosing from among us a Georgia-born black man. The man that we refer to as the little lamb, without spot nor blemish. One who came from our ranks, who understood our condition. One who was a child of slaves. But this one God raised up with knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. A man who only went to the 3rd grade of school in the white man's school system. But a man that met with God and was taught by God and was raised by God and was empowered by God, was anointed by God, was appointed by God, and was sent to raise us up. So we thank Allah for His messenger, who is the Messiah, the arisen Christ, the little lamb, without spot nor blemish, the honorable Elijah Muhammad. We thank Allah for that beautiful Georgia-born black man. And if we live to be 1,000, we can never thank Almighty God Allah enough, brothers and sisters, because God loves us so much, whether you know it or not, that He has not left us forsaken. He left with us one on scene today who is continuing the work and the legacy that God Himself started in raising and resurrecting a people that are mentally and spiritually dead. God has not let you go. Some of us have let God go. But God has not forsaken us. God is with us. And if you stand with God, and if you stand with the man of God, then you will be victorious in this hour, because we are now living in our time. This is the time for the universal rise. of the black men and women of America and black people all over the world. But it's going to stop with the black men and women of America. So we thank Allah for that boldest black man, that courageous black man, that one that's on scene today, that has given us the opportunity to accept our own and be ourselves and be on the winning team today. And that one that I speak of is none other than the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. In their names I greet you, brothers and sisters, in the greeting words of peace. In paradise we say it in the Arabic language, Assalamu alaikum. How you feel?
Fine, sir.
Well, praise is due to Allah. I feel good. It's a blessing to be up here today. I'm looking forward to having this conversation with us.
Yes, sir.
We are living in a very blessed time, and we have just come through our holiday.
That's right.
Which we celebrated last weekend, but the official date of the anniversary of the Million Man March happened and came on this past Wednesday.
That's right.
Where we celebrated a day that the black men took and made it a holy day.
Come on now.
Took it.
Go ahead.
Took it.
We took it.
Right.
We didn't ask the white man to give us a day.
Right.
We didn't give a damn whether he recognized it or not.
Right.
And this is what we got to understand. See, white people are relevant today.
Right.
Once you know who you are, once you accept your own and you're being yourself,
Right.
they can't stop you from rising. This is the day of our universal rise.
Praise be to Allah.
Stop asking permission.
Right.
Stop seeking validation.
Right.
Stop expecting them to do for you.
Right.
To give you something.
Right.
They don't have the power to give you nothing. Their day to rule us is over. It's your time now, black man and woman. You gotta get up and walk in your mission. And that's what we did on October the 16th, man. So we took a day
That's right.
and we made it our day. The Million Man March and the Holy Day of Atonement is not a Nation of Islam exclusive holiday. This is not a holiday that should be only recognized and celebrated by those of us that are considered registered members of the Nation of Islam.
Right.
Now I gotta say that registered members.
Yeah.
Because whether you know it or not, you a member of the Nation of Islam.
Right.
God has already claimed you. It's just us that we're running from our assignment.
That's right.
We're running from our mission.
Yeah.
You are part of God's nation. You can't escape it.
Right.
Huh?
Right.
You'll do yourself good to just accept your own and be yourself and stop running from the assignment, Jonah.
That's right.
As long as you keep running, Jonah, you're going to keep catching hell. You're going to keep running into storms.
Right.
Turbulence in your life.
Right.
Have you wondered why things seem to never be going right in your life?
Come on now.
Huh? You are not satisfied.
Right.
You are not fulfilled.
Right.
You are not happy.
Come on now.
It's because you're running from your assignment.
Right.
But when you accept your own and be yourself,
Yes.
then God will bless you in all that you do.
That's right.
And you will come into heaven at once.
That's right.
Huh?
Go ahead.
So this day, October the 16th, that we celebrate is a day that is for all black people.
Right.
And you know, we was at the Jane Elliott presentation last week.
Yeah. Talk about
You know, and you know, there's certain white folks now, they coming to the understanding they want to be black too. Huh?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
She said we all came from Africa,
it. Yeah.
so we all black. Oh, they finally trying to get it.
Yeah. That's what she said.
Huh?
Come on now.
They know the black man is the original man. They know the black man. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
No. Huh? So really, we can expand that. And really, all of humanity should embrace and accept the Holy Day of Atonement, but primarily and particularly and specifically the black man and woman of America. See, we should all embrace and take ownership for that day.
Right.
That's right.
Because on that day, we put down religious divisions.
Right.
We put down denominations. We came together across religious lines, across denominational lines,
Right.
across, organizational lines,
Right.
across geographical lines.
That's right.
Is that right?
That's right.
We overcame the ageism, the young and the old. So really on that day, we all came together and became one.
That's right.
Right.
Huh?
Right.
We all became Christian, became Muslim.
Right.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
We became Hebrew Israelite.
Yes, sir.
We became 5%ers.
That's right.
We became atheists.
That's right.
Is that right?
Right, sir.
We came, educated and uneducated.
That's right.
We came those that were in politics and those that were in Hollywood. Those that were in the music industry.
Right.
We came together young and old.
That's right.
Huh?
That's correct.
And we stood as a solid wall in solidarity.
Right.
On that day, the black man and woman became one.
That's right.
All praises are due to God.
Takir! Takir! Takir!
I said the black man and woman.
Right.
You said, wait a minute, I thought it was a million man march.
Come on now.
But it could have never happened without the backing,
Right.
without the support
Right.
of our women.
Right.
Don't get it twisted.
Don't
the
get
black
it twisted.
woman was a part of the Million Man March. Is that right?
That's right.
They supported us.
That's right.
Is that right? They encouraged us.
That's right.
They were involved in every aspect of the march. They were involved in the organizing.
Right.
Huh?
Right. Yes, sir.
They was involved in the launching.
Yes, right.
And they were involved in the program.
Right.
That's right.
Every piece.
They were involved in every aspect. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan just asked the sisters not to be on the mall that day.
That's right.
And we're going to get to that in a minute.
Yeah.
Huh?
They was there too.
But they were there, yeah. Okay, they were there too. Some of my sisters went. They gave us the opportunity to be in the presence of a million black men.
Right.
Go ahead.
Clean cut, disciplined black men. My sisters couldn't resist. I'm going to be there.
Right. Right.
It was there. It was so there. It was
Yes,
there. But the call was for the men.
Right.
So we should never forget that day.
Come on, man. Come on.
We should never forget that day. And so today I want to talk about that day, and not just that day, but what that day meant, and really the aftermath of that day. Because it seems as if though, not don't seem, it's obvious, it's clear, that the enemy has moved to erase the Million Man March out of history.
That's right. That's right.
But the enemy was trying to downplay from day one.
That's right.
From day one, matter of fact, before day one,
Right.
they were using all of their media outlets to try to dissuade people from coming to the march.
Right.
They try to create a hostile environment between black men and black women.
Right. They did.
Right?
We did.
They try to create a hostile environment between Muslim and Christian,
That's right.
between traditional black leadership and real black leadership.
Teach this. Teach this.
Because you got traditional black leaders, those are the Negroes that are stamped and approved by the white man.
That's right.
Huh? And then you have the real black leadership
Right.
that the white man try to act don't exist, act like they don't exist.
Right.
See, they try to act like the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan does not exist.
Right.
That's what they do. Come on.
Come on now.
They adopted a policy of benign neglect after the Million Man March.
Yes, they did.
Meaning that they decided that they were not going to give the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan any press.
Right.
They were just going to ignore him because all the way up to the Million Man March, they thought they had the power to stop him.
Right.
So they was playing up every avenue, calling them a racist, calling them an anti-Semite, calling them a bigot, calling them a misogynist. Travis, like he hate women. Like, they tried everything. But with every knock, it was a boost.
Yeah. Right.
So the more they criticized the Honorable Minister it sparked curiosity in the minds of the people. And they wanted to come out and hear, well, who is this boogeyman that you keep talking about? And as soon as someone got a whip and got to listen to just a little of what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan was talking about, then it exposed the real fake news. See, fake news is not something new. Trump is onto something there. But that's Satan casting out Satan. There is fake news. And Trump is fake as well. So he riding the wave of fake news.
Come on.
But they tried to dissuade us from listening to the minister, but everybody went. So it didn't matter what they tried to do. Oh, brothers and sisters, there was a whole campaign. They've been trying to stop the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Yes, sir.
They try to put every known black leader against Minister Farrakhan.
That's right.
They work to drive a wedge between him and his brother Jesse Jackson. Who were friends and close and supporters of each other, but they drove a wedge in that relationship. They tried to drive a wedge between the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the leadership of the NAACP.
Go ahead,
The Southern Christian Leadership Conference. All the traditional leaders, they try to raise them up, but none of them was strong enough
That's right.
to deter the attention from the masses of the people and their attraction to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Go ahead.
So when they couldn't find any living leader to try to put against the minister, they went to the graveyard.
That's right.
And they resurrected Malcolm X. And tried to raise Malcolm and do that as a way to dissuade black people from listening to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
That's right.
They resurrected Malcolm. They invested millions of dollars in this movie about the life of Malcolm X. They sanitized Malcolm. They made Malcolm a civil rights leader.
Yes, they did.
They never said that when Malcolm was alive, he was considered the #1 anti-Semite. They never mentioned that part.
That's right.
So they sanitized Malcolm X. They gave you a revisionist history of Malcolm. Raised Malcolm as a shining black prince. And then try to put the blame for his murder on the Nation of Islam and specifically the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Yes, they did.
Come on, y'all.
But that didn't work either.
That's right. That's right.
That didn't work either.
Come on, brother.
They tried to use Quabila Shabazz, the daughter of Malcolm X. And that backfired on him. And matter of fact, that did nothing but solidify the relationship and restore the relationship between Dr. Betty Shabazz, the wife of Malcolm X, and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. They came together because the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan stood up in support and in defense of her daughter, Quabila Shabazz, when she was entrapped by the FBI. So this all happened before the Million Man March. So they tried everything. So then after that, after it failed, it was evident. When the Million Man March came and when he called for 1 million men and 1.8 million showed up, it was clear who the preeminent leader of black people really is. Because there was no leader or combination of leaders that could have made a call like that and received that kind of a response. It was very clear that it was the call of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan that produced the masses of black men that came out on that day. So from that point on, their whole strategy was benign neglect. We're gonna neglect to mention, we're gonna act like the nation doesn't exist. We're gonna act like Minister Farrakhan doesn't exist. We're not gonna mention him. No more press coverages.
Go ahead, brother.
Now, brothers and sisters, we know that recently we had this movie came out, Hidden Figures. How many of y'all seen the movie?
A few times.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Now, in this movie, we just found out, just a couple of years ago,
That's right.
we just found out that it was black women who had figured out the mathematical calculations
Come on, brother.
that enabled the astronauts to make it to the moon and return back to the earth safely.
Right.
Huh? It was black women that did. Now, we didn't know none of this.
Come on, brother.
Now, how many of y'all learned that for the first time when the movie came out? Be honest.
Yes.
That's every hand in here.
Yes.
And it's, we in Muhammad Muslim 11, so we got woke folk in here.
Right.
We have conscious, we have folk in here that have a little bit of knowledge of self.
Come on.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
But we did not know that it was black women. Why didn't we know? Last week we had a screening of the documentary Hidden Colors. How many of you seen the Hidden Colors? Any of the videos of Hidden Colors? They got 5 of them out now. Very powerful.
That's right.
And for those that didn't see it, Hidden Colors basically shows you the hidden history of black people
That's right.
in all of our splendor. It shows that black people really was in Europe before the Europeans.
Right.
That's right.
Before the Europeans were invented, I would add.
Right.
Because they are an invention.
That's right. That's right.
Huh? But the black man, it shows that even after the Europeans went up into Europe, but when they fell in the Dark Ages, that it was black Muslims who went up into Europe and civilized Europe
Right.
and taught the Europeans mathematics,
Right.
taught them how to read,
Right.
taught them how to bathe,
Come on.
Right.
taught them how to build a home for themselves.
Right.
Is that right?
That's correct.
No, this is documented historical facts.
That's right.
So Hidden Colors shows of the black nobles in Europe.
Right.
Huh? There were black popes.
Yes.
Huh?
Right.
We didn't know all of this. It showed how the original Japanese were black.
Right.
That's right.
How the original samurais were black.
Come on now.
Huh? How the originators of karate was black.
Come on
And
now.
all that came from Africa. They went into Japan, into the temples.
Right.
And the monks, the samurai monks, were all black. Matter of fact, it was said that you could not really be a true samurai
Come on.
without having at least some black blood in you. We didn't know that. We watching these karate movies. we watch these movies, we won't be Chinese, not knowing that you started in the first place.
Right.
Huh? You don't want to be Chinese, be black in these. Because you the original man. Huh?
Right.
Now, it showed us all praises to Allah. It showed us that. Not only was the original Japanese, the original Chinese were black, they showed us the hidden history of black people in the Americas, the original indigenous people here, and really all over the world. It showed us the black inventions, just all of the great things that black people invented and were part of that we never knew. But one of the things from the Hidden Colors documentary that they asked the question, why were the colors hidden?
Right.
See, our history has been purposely, right, kept from us.
Right.
Huh? Because your enemy, the slave master, never wanted you to know anything great about yourself.
That's right.
Because they want you to think that you a nigger.
That's right.
They want you to think that you was nothing. You was running around in Africa as a savage with bones in your nose.
Right.
So you should be thankful for the white man going and bringing you over here and civilizing you.
That's what he said.
This is what that Negro Jesse E. Peterson said. Huh?
Yes, sir.
He thanked God for slavery. Huh? Otherwise, you wouldn't be on the we said the best side of this of heaven. Or whatever. You got Negroes that think this way.
That's right. That's right.
That was Jesse E. Peterson. He's in Hidden Colors 5. If you didn't see it, that's what I'm talking about. Self-confessed coon.
Say it.
He's self-confessed. Tariq Nasheed gave him the Coon of the Year, an honorary Coon of the Year award. And he accepted it with a smile.
Straight up, that's right. That's right.
Jesse.
Wow.
We have Negroes that think this way.
Right.
But so the reason why you can have a Jesse E. Peterson and others of that ilk is because they robbed us of the knowledge of ourselves. So they wanted us to be happy-go-lucky, white worshiping slaves.
That's right. Go ahead.
They don't want you to know anything great. So now look, so when we talk about the Million Man March, right? We're seeing it right now. They're trying to erase that out of history. Because just like they hid the colors, just like they had the hidden figures, can you imagine young black girls who they say black children are trailing everyone in science and mathematics?
Yes, sir.
They say that that women generally fear less than boys, or girls fear less than boys when it comes to science and math.
That's right.
So if females, according to their statistics, fear less than males in science and math, and black people are trailing everyone, then the black girl, right, is trailing everyone in science and math in particular. But can you imagine the effect of young black girls knowing that it was black women that figured out the mathematical calculations to allow the astronauts to go to the moon and back, and they did it without a computer.
Right.
Right out their head. Matter of fact, they developed the first IBM. And the computer, they had a computer calculation, but the mathematics of the computer and the mathematics of the system differed slightly.
That's
That's
right.
right.
But the astronaut, the white astronaut, the white male astronaut,
He knew what's up.
he said, no, we're going to go with what the sisters said. He didn't call them sisters, but
He knew better.
he trusted the mathematical equations of the black woman over
That's right.
their newly developed IBM computer.
That's right.
Can you imagine what that would have done to the confidence of young black girls
Right.
who grew up knowing that the realm of possibility, knowing that they can conquer math?
Yes,
Huh?
Oh, come on, bro.
And our children, our people, we need to know a true knowledge of ourselves.
That's right.
Because not only can you conquer math, we need to teach our children that they're independent math. We invented mathematics. So tell your children, no, when they say, oh, I'm not good at math, stop perpetuating that lie. Huh?
That's right.
You can master mathematics.
Yes, sir.
For you invented mathematics.
Come on.
For you are mathematics.
Yes, sir.
Huh? All praises are due to Allah. So they hid the colors. So this is the movie. But these are the real sisters.
That's right.
So just as they hid the colors, they hid the figures about the Million Man March.
Right. Go ahead.
Now, so the Million Man March was one of the greatest, I'll rephrase that. The Million Man March was the greatest event
That's right.
of our lifetime.
Yes,
right.
Matter of fact, I'm going to say that the Million Man March was the greatest event in the last 400 years.
That's right.
Huh?
That's right.
And probably I can qualify and say that it was the greatest event to take place in the last 6,000 years.
There you go.
All praises be to Allah. This never happened before.
Come on.
That's right.
Never in the annals of history have 1 million black men came together.
Come on.
Huh? around a little bit. Prior to the Million Man March, the greatest event, the greatest gathering that we had witnessed was the March on Washington. Right?
Yes, sir.
The March on Washington was called by the great Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And the March on Washington, they say, drew 250,000 people.
That's right.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
Now, I remember all my life coming up with these images.
Yes, sir.
Right.
They made sure that these images were engraved in our brain.
That's right.
They made sure that this was recorded. This is where King made the infamous speech,
Right.
I have a dream.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
This was big.
Right.
This was big. But now, when you contrast, if we can acknowledge that this was newsworthy, history-worthy, right? A great event, and it was.
Right.
Ain't gonna take nothing away from our brother.
Right. Right.
That was great.
Yes, sir.
But when you contrast that with the Million Man March, huh?
No comparison.
There's no comparison.
That's right. That's right.
Why? Because first of all, the March on Washington was led by Martin Luther King Jr.
Right.
He's a Christian
Right. Right.
who followed the religion that the slave master had approved and prescribed for us.
Yes, sir. Right.
And brothers and sisters, we have to know that the religion that we have been given by our slave masters, they did not give us religion to make us, to draw us closer to God, but they gave us religion to make us a better slave.
That's right.
Huh?
Right. Yes, sir.
Christianity, as given to us by our slave master, is a slave-making religion.
That's right.
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 Come on.
This is why the brother of Bolton John, right?
Right.
After Amber Geiger had killed his brother in cold blood,
Right.
huh? And then lied about it,
That's right.
tried to get away with it.
Yes,
Right.
sir.
He can get on there weeping and crying,
Right.
and talking about how he forgives her. And Negroes, we're so silly with this, but this is how we've been taught.
That's right.
We've been taught that you're supposed to forgive your enemies, forgive those who spitefully use you.
Right. That's right.
Hmm?
Go ahead.
And we say these silly things that we are taught and we just regurgitate.
That's right.
Well, you know, forgiving, you gotta forgive so that you don't burden yourself. What burden?
Right.
Someone did something to you. You're not carrying that burden. They carrying that burden.
That's right. That's right.
What burden? You didn't do nothing.
Right.
How you carrying the burden? And secondly, even if you want to forgive, you don't have to, if you want to unburden yourself, you can forgive without telling someone you forgave them.
Right.
Come on and talk back to me.
That's right.
That's what we do among each other,
Right.
Right.
right? You just forget about it.
Yeah. Right.
But you don't need to go and now, can I please give her a hug?
Right.
I love you.
Right.
I want the best for you.
Right.
I don't even want you to go to jail. See, that was a shameful
That's right.
Yeah.
display of Stockholm Syndrome.
Come on.
Where we as black people have been made to identify with and sympathize with our oppressor.
That's right.
And as long as you keep forgiving white people for killing you,
Right.
then they're going to continue killing you.
That's right.
And this is why we are dealing with the murder of Atatiana today.
Come on.
A black woman also killed in her own house.
That's right.
Right.
We got to stop this foolishness right now. But I understand. We've been conditioned. We've been taught this way.
Yes.
We've been taught to love our enemy.
That's right, brother.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.,
Right.
right?
Yes.
He was a firm believer in this religion.
Right, firm.
He believed it. He taught it.
Right.
So here's a Christian, he's non-threatening.
Right.
He was leading a non-violent movement.
That's right.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
He had plenty of white support.
Plenty. Right.
So here's a black man who's a Christian who is non-violent,
Right.
who has the support of white liberals.
Right. Right.
He has the support of Jewish folks.
Right.
He has the financial backing of Jewish folks,
That's right.
of white liberals.
Yes.
Huh? He calls a march, and it's an inclusive march. It's white, black, men, women, children, everybody was there.
Right.
That's right.
And with all that support, all that inclusivity, right?
Yes.
He drew 250,000 people. Man, let's give him a hand. Just one hand, just. We don't need all that. Now, it was a good thing. We ain't taking nothing from our beloved brother, just a little levity.
Yes, sir.
But I'm showing you that to then as we contrast with the Million Man March. Now, as we look at these figures, King's March started at the Lincoln Memorial.
Come on.
And you see here in this picture, they're standing in front of the Lincoln Memorial looking toward the Capitol building. This is the last part of D.C., the reflecting pool. And, you know, the picture, right, if you really look at it, it looks like a lot of people. It was 250,000, but if you look, and we've been here, you see the crowd start thinning out right around here.
Right.
That crowd doesn't go back beyond the Washington Monument,
Right.
right?
Yes, sir.
So this is a smaller area because most of this area is covered by this big old pool. This is just like a little walking strip. And it's just a little lobby there. The picture makes it look real big.
That's right.
It was all right. But now, when we talk about the Million Man March, first of all, it was called by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
That's right.
All praises to your life. Now, he a black Muslim, right?
Yes.
He a black Muslim.
Right.
He's not non-violent.
Right.
And I'm not saying that to say that he's a violent person, but it's against our religion to turn the other cheek.
That's right.
Being a punk is un-Islamic.
Right.
See, we don't believe in being non-violent in the face of those that are violent with us. We are peaceful people. We are peaceful people as long as you're peaceful with us.
Right.
But our religion teaches us to fight with those who fight with you.
Yes, sir.
In the name of Allah.
Yes, sir.
And you will be victorious.
That's right. That's right.
Matter of fact, the Holy Quran says fighting is prescribed for you.
That's right.
So you got to be real careful how you deal with us, because you start acting up, we might want to take our meds. We're going to take that prescription and get in that tail. Huh? All praises due to Allah.
Yes, sir.
Come on now.
So here's a black Muslim who's not nonviolent. He don't have no white support.
Right.
Come on.
Don't need it. That's
But all white antagonism.
Right.
No Jewish support.
Right.
But all Jewish antagonism.
Right.
That was working against him.
Right.
And when you gotta know that the Jewish leadership really own and control most of your black leadership.
That's right.
Huh? That's a fact.
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Why do you think most of your black leadership is scared to death to align themselves openly and publicly with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan?
Right.
But this is why the Million Man March was so magnificent, because the movement was so strong.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
that even scared to death Negroes, felt compelled to come and be a part of this great historical event.
Right.
And then he called for a 1 million man march,
Right.
and he told his sisters, "No, sisters, stay at home."
Right.
Right.
Anything could have popped off.
Right.
The civil rights leaders, they told the Minister Farrakhan, "You don't know nothing about marching." Because up until that point, the nation wasn't really involved in marching.
Right.
We were always involved in working.
Right.
We was always involved in building.
Right.
We ain't get involved in protesting white people.
Right.
Right.
And the 1 million man march was not about us protesting white people.
That's right.
Huh? The 1 million man march was about gathering us together for atonement and reconciliation.
Right.
And to take responsibility over our own community.
Right.
Because as I said in my opening, this is our day now.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
So to the point that we're not raised is to the point that we're not getting up.
That's right.
And so the 1 million man march was about self-determination. Huh?
That's right.
So here, the minister called. So they say, "You don't know nothing about no marches." Minister Farrakhan, if you don't call a march, you can't call a march on a Monday. We usually call our marches on a Saturday. Or on a Sunday, on a weekend.
That's right.
Where people don't work. But the minister said, "No, I'm going to call it on a Monday.
Right.
And I want you to take off. Matter of fact, no work, no school, no play. On that day was going to be a day of absence.
Right. Right.
Right. Yes, sir.
Take the day off. Huh? And I ain't paying nobody's way.
Right.
That's right.
Pay your own way.
Right.
Get there.
Right.
Right.
Huh? So he made the call on a Monday. And he didn't pay no one's way. Everyone had to take off of work, off of school,
Yep.
right? And come, and those that couldn't make it to the march were asked to stay at home because we wanted to show America what it would look like without black people there. You don't like us.
Right.
You antagonizing us. You don't want to give us justice.
Right.
Right.
Well, let's show them what America looked like
Right.
without us. And brothers and sisters, we should honor that every year.
That's right.
It should be a blackout. No work, no school, no play. No spending your money in white businesses.
Right.
A day of absence.
Right.
Let them feel
Right.
what it's like when they go in and there's no bus drivers.
Right.
Huh? There's nobody to do anything for them.
Right.
Huh?
Right.
Who's going to run the businesses?
Right.
Huh? Who's going to teach the children? Who's going to take care of the sick in the hospital when all the black nurses don't show up?
Come on.
Huh? Come on. And all white folks, they're just going to have to double up. Y'all going to have to do it all. Now, we did it all by ourselves for 400 years. You can take a day.
That's right.
That's right.
Maybe you appreciate us a little bit better after we come back. Huh? So, yeah, he said, hey, who said that? If we come back. That's right.
That's right.
Might feel so good to us. That was the idea.
Right.
Because if we can come together in solidarity and unity, we really don't need them.
Right.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
We can build our own reality, and this is really good. We're being forced to go anyway. So despite the fact that he called it on a Monday, right? Despite the fact that it was a black Muslim with no white support, with no Jewish support, the result was so overwhelming.
Right.
Huh? All praises be to Allah. So now, in contrast, when you look at this picture, this is from the Capitol building.
Come on.
That's where the minister, he was on the steps of the Capitol looking toward the Lincoln Memorial. And there's really no picture that can capture the whole thing, but you can see from here that this is wall-to-wall people.
Right.
And it's wall-to-wall people going all the way back to the obelisk. But there was more wall-to-wall people behind that all the way to the Lincoln Memorial. Huh? And there was people on the wings. See this line of trees here? When you look, this image shows you a little bit better. Where you can see the line, but you can see the side. The wings. Huh? Oh, and we were shoulder to shoulder. Huh? Toe to toe. Like, can you imagine 1.8 million black men shoulder to shoulder, toe to toe? And there was not one fight, not one shooting, not one stabbing, not one incident. It was a damn peace. All praises to you, God. Man, we should honor that day just for that. Huh? Because it gave us a glimpse of heaven. Don't we want to live like that? That we could hardly have a kite festival without someone getting shot and stabbed. We could hardly have a West Indian parade without somebody getting shot, stabbed, beat up. Hell, we could hardly have a house party. Huh? But we had 1 million men. Bloods and Crips, gangster disciples. From the East Coast and the West Coast, from the North and the South. Christian and Muslim. Young and old. But we was there and we became one. Listen, don't expect your enemy to honor this day, to celebrate this day. You gotta be inspired. You got to love this day. You have to honor this day. You have to make this day holy. You have to let the spirit of the millionaire watch live.
Right, Brother Randy.
I was there. See that? That's me right there. Y'all see me? I'm right there. Y'all see me? I was in there somewhere. I can't tell you where. I know I was there somewhere. Oh, it was a beautiful day. Oh, it was a beautiful day. Now, the greatness of the Million Man March, brothers and sisters, was not just that event. But even if it was just that event,
Yes, sir.
that's worthy of us honoring and commemorating and celebrating. Right?
Yes, sir.
Realizing, we have to realize what took place leading up to this event.
All right, here we go.
Huh?
Here we go.
Good point.
Because this didn't just happen.
Right.
This was divinely inspired.
Go ahead, teach.
This was divine intervention.
That's right.
Huh?
Come on.
You may say, how did they pull this off?
Right. That's the question. Go ahead.
All of this was really inspired by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Come on now.
Ooh, are y'all ready?
Yes.
Huh?
Go ahead.
Don't go through deep.
Yeah.
But listen, man, that's the proof. That's the evidence.
That's the evidence.
That was a miracle.
That's it.
But now you need to know and understand, how did the miracle come about?
Right. Tell it.
Because, man, listen, average Negroes can't even develop the thought to think about calling the Million Man.
Go ahead.
Let's execute it.
That's right.
This was a divine call.
Come on.
The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan was inspired. We have to understand the climate in which this was called. This was in 1995. At the height of the crack epidemic. At the height of the fratricide going on in the black community. At the height of gang violence and gang warfare. At the height of our divisiveness. The enemy was poised to slaughter black people wholesale. They have been marketing black people as being less than human. They have put out movies like Boys in the Hood, Menace to Society. Is that right? Where there was depicted men as being black men as being savages. Huh?
That's right.
They were calling for the National Guard.
That's correct.
We was all divine. That's what made it so miraculous. Because with all that trauma, with all that drama, right?
Bring them all together.
With all that conflict, we still came together. We was guiding us.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Because he was showing us of a bigger plan.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, go ahead.
How did this happen? The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, he had a vision in 1985, where he received instructions from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad on the wind. He received divine revelation. And he's been guiding Black America and the world since then with that divine revelation.
That's right.
See, I know some of y'all don't believe that. But we got receipts today.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We got receipts today.
That's right.
Right. Black crime was running rampant. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan started a series of lectures that really has its roots and origin right here in Boston.
Go ahead and tell it.
That's
With that beautiful black man sitting there.
Teach.
I'll be glad to tell you.
Come on now, break it down.
I know you. All right, wait.
History. Come on, teach it.
Where's my? Yeah, where's my?
Yes, sir. Take your time. Good.
Here we go.
Okay, good.
Right, this
Stuff.
There we go. Yeah. On June 25th,
Come on, man.
1989,
Yes, yes.
the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan delivered a message
That's right.
titled Revealing the Conspiracy,
Come on now.
Youth, Gangs, Violence, and Drugs,
That's right.
to nearly 12,000 youth, many members and leaders of so-called gangs.
Come on.
The following text is part of one of two edition excerpts of the speech. So here's a speech that was given by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan in 1989.
Yes, sir.
Listen to what he says. While in Phoenix, Arizona, I saw on television the tanks and the armed forces of the People's Republic of China rolling over young people, murdering them because they wanted a change. The news also came that a leader of the Islamic Republic of Iran, the leader of the Islamic Republic of Iran, Imam Khomeini, had passed away.
Yes, sir.
As I watched these two apparently unrelated events, a shudder went over my body, and I was literally gripping myself, looking at the television screen because I knew that there was a connection between what was going on in China and what is about to take place in America.
That's right.
But I could not put it together at that time.
Come on, Brother Randy. You on it.
Now, again, remember, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan had a vision in 1985
Right.
where information was put into him.
Come
The Holy Quran says that Allah takes men's soul at night
Right.
while they sleep.
Right.
and those whom the decree of death has not passed over.
Right.
Come on,
And
minister.
he sends it back to them.
Right.
Well, I believe it was just this Savior's Day that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, I don't know about you,
Uh-huh.
but when Allah takes my soul at night,
Go ahead.
Come on now.
he writes on it.
Yes.
Uh-huh. Ooh,
Teach.
Did he say that?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Huh? So the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan received divine revelation. It was in him. So when he's looking at these events, he's getting cold chills because the revelation is coming out.
Come on.
Come on.
He said after returning to Chicago,
Go ahead, come on, let's talk.
Minister Don Muhammad.
Right, right. That's right.
He's been reading the representative of Minister Farrakhan. Yeah, that black man back there. Yeah. Minister Don Muhammad.
Gotta bear witness.
Huh?
Gotta bear witness.
He told me of an incident in Boston, Massachusetts,
Come on now.
involving a group of our young brothers who are considered gangs, who had shot up Roxbury,
Come on.
a section of Boston, with sophisticated weapons, and the police were at their wits' ends as to what to do. The brothers in the gang felt that the only person whom they could turn to was Minister Dunn.
Yes, sir.
And they recognized that the only persons who could solve their problems were the Muslims.
Uh-huh.
You see, Muslims?
Yes, sir.
This is the important role that we have to play in our community. We have to be the real, honest, dependable brokers of peace in our community.
Yes, sir.
We are our people's only hope.
That's right.
Say that.
That is the legacy that we have inherited, particularly in this city.
That's right.
All right?
That's right.
We can't let that fall by the wayside.
Come on.
Huh? We have to honor that legacy.
Right.
We have to carry on that tradition.
That's right.
All praises are due to Allah.
Yes, sir.
And this is what we'll be found doing.
Yes, sir.
And this is what we are found doing today.
Yes, sir.
With the 10,000 fearless
Yes,
peace.
sir. Yes, sir.
Right.
In the mighty name of Allah. The gang leaders, as they are called, said to Brother Don, if you can bring us a message from Brother Farrakhan,
Uh-huh. He said,
if he wants us to stop, we won't shoot each other. But we would like to hear from him.
yes, sir.
I told Brother Don I will go immediately and make a broadcast to them.
Yes, sir. Very well.
So it was this conversation between the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and Minister Don Muhammad
Uh-huh.
that sparked the minister to go in to make this message specifically to address our young street organizations and organizational leaders.
Right.
The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan goes on to say, as I began to dictate to Sister Ava Muhammad, the administrative assistant to Minister Farrakhan, what I would say, I immediately began to feel relief. You see that, Brother Minister Don?
Right.
Man, your conversation brought relief to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Yes, sir.
Man, that's how important that man is.
Hard work.
That conversation triggered something in his friend, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Right.
And that's when it began to crystallize in him
Right.
the divine revelation that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad had already put in him.
Come on now.
He said, I immediately began to feel relief because now it was clear to me what God wanted me to say to all of you. And through you, and to young black people all over America.
Right.
Yes, sir.
I say it again. The government of the United States is planning an assault on the black community, specifically aimed at our youth. And the conspiracy is so deep and so diabolical
Talk about it.
that many of you will not even believe that at this very moment that I am talking to you, your lives hang in the balance.
Right.
That is correct.
Whether you are living in Chicago,
That is correct.
Detroit, Boston, Washington, D.C., Los Angeles, or any city in America.
That's right.
And out there.
Black youth, particularly black young men, are at risk today. And unknowingly, brothers, you are playing into the hands of your enemy.
Right.
And he is using you to set up your destruction and using the fear and the pain of your mothers to call for your destruction.
Right.
Man, I bear witness.
Yes, sir.
So this message
Witness.
sparked in the minister what he started to give here, which evolved and grew to a stop the killing tour.
Right.
That's right.
Stop the killing.
Where he started to crisscross the country and city to city, speaking to black people.
That's right.
All men.
And letting us know that the government is planning our destruction.
That's right.
And that they were going to use gangs,
That's right.
guns, and drugs
That's right.
as a pretext
Right.
to come in
Right.
and kill us wholesale.
That's right.
Huh?
That's right.
Oh, they had the plan already laid out.
That's right.
They wanted to use the National Guard
That's right.
to come in.
Right.
And you see them still calling for that.
That's right.
Even Trump, when he came in, he keep threatening
Chicago.
that in Chicago, if the murder rate don't come down,
Come on, that's what he said.
that he'll call the National Guards in.
Come on now.
That's what he said.
Trump didn't invent that.
Right.
He's only trying to carry into practice
Right.
a plan that had already been drawn up
That's right.
since the Reagan administration.
Come on now.
Teach the history.
He was telling us from the vision that America was planning a war, and that the war had a front in a small Muslim nation in the Middle East,
Right.
and a small Muslim nation in America,
That's correct.
which is the nation of Islam,
That's right.
which includes all black people in America.
That's right.
As I said before, whether you know it or not, you are a member of the nation of Islam.
Right.
All you have to do is accept your own and be yourself. You be brothers in my country.
All right. Yes, sir.
The minister went crisscrossing the country, telling us that the government was bringing the crack, the drugs in, that they was bringing the guns in,
Right.
that they was setting us up. Now, he was saying this as early as 1989
Come on.
and before, which is the documented tour, Stop the Killing Tour.
Right.
Those series of talks of the Stop the Killing Tour evolved into the all men's meeting,
That's right.
where the minister turned it up and he said it's not enough just to go and tell our people to stop the killing. I need to speak specifically
To the man.
to the black men,
Right.
because we were the ones engaging in this fratricide, killing each other,
Right.
gang warfare
Right.
that was being fueled by crack cocaine.
Come on now.
And the government that was hurting us, he called for black men to come out.
Yes, sir.
Now, when he was saying that to us, that was divine revelation.
Come on now.
The government has always been planning. And this is why, brothers, to know your smoke, you got to know who your real enemy is.
Right.
The government has always been the enemy of the black men and women.
That's right.
So it was President Nixon that initiated and first called for the war on drugs.
Come on.
That's right.
But his aide came out and admitted that the war on drugs was only a euphemism to declare war on black people.
Yeah, look at it.
So the Nixon campaign in 1968 and the Nixon White House after that had two enemies. So when I said that the government has been our enemy, some of y'all probably got scared.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he's saying it. No, they saying you the enemy.
Right.
And they have proven that they are an enemy to you. Whether you want to accept that or not, that's on you.
Right, sure enough.
But Nixon was very clear. They said that they had two enemies: the anti-war left and black people.
Right.
Huh? So the enemy of President Nixon was black people
Right.
Come on.
and anti-war left white people. For Nixon's domestic policy chief, John L. Richmond, how you say that? Ehrlichman. Thank you. John Ehrlichman
Come on with the research.
told Harper's writer Dan Baum for the April cover story published Tuesday. You understand what he's quoting Nixon. You understand what I'm saying? We knew we couldn't make it illegal to be either against the war on black, to be either against the war or black. But by getting the public to associate the hippies with marijuana and blacks with heroin, and then criminalizing both heavily, we could disrupt those communities.
Yes, sir.
Say his name again? Ehrlichman said, we could arrest their leaders, raid their homes, break up their meetings, and vilify them night after night on the evening news.
Come on now.
Huh? Did we know we were lying about the drugs? Of course we did.
Right.
Huh? This is Nixon's aid, showing you that as early as 1968, but there's actually evidence that shows that even before then, drugs have always been used by our government as a way of destabilizing the black community, as a way of criminalizing us and mass incarcerating us. But this information did not come out before the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan made it known.
Right.
That's right.
So the war on drugs that was initially called by Nixon was continued under the Reagan administration. In the Nixon era, it was the heroin. But in the Reagan era, it was cocaine and crack cocaine. Under the Reagan and Bush administration. So here, Gary Webb,
Come on now.
who was a Pulitzer Prize writer for the San Mercury News. Webb wrote a series of 3 articles for the San Jose Mercury News in 1996. Pause. Right? Because now, this is the receipts. Now, I told you earlier that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan had a vision and he received divine revelation. Is that right?
That's right.
He went and started to stop the killing tour. What year?
89.
Trying to see if y'all was paying attention. Huh? He started to stop the killing tour in 1989. And he was telling us what the government was planning. He had the Million Man March in 1995.
Tied together.
But it wasn't until 1996 that Gary Webb actually came out with the receipts.
Yes.
He had these 3 articles called Dark Alliance, which, by the way, Dark Alliance is now a book. You can go and get the book Dark Alliance. And if you don't like reading, which we all should get into the habit of reading, because it's an exercise for the brain. Huh? You try to read something every day. It helps keep you younger. Help keep you sharper. And it helps you retain information better. But if you don't want to take my advice, they got a movie for you. It's called Kill the Messenger, which is based off of the book, right? Dark Alliance. So you can go to rent the video or wherever you stream your movies from today and watch the documentary Dark Alliance. It's the story of Gary Webb, this Pulitzer Prize winning journalist who uncovered that the CIA was in fact selling drugs. Huh?
That's right.
In his report, Webb, who had won a Pulitzer Prize in 1989 for a different story, claimed that the CIA was partly responsible for bringing crack cocaine into the United States in the 1980s. Webb conducted a year-long investigation, during which he discovered that a San Francisco-based drug ring, which had ties to a CIA-sponsored Nicaraguan Contra group called the FDN, sold cocaine to dealers in South Central LA. The millions of dollars made from those sales were later used to fund a secret war against the leftist Sandinista regime. In short, Webb accused the CIA of being complicit in getting thousands of poor African Americans addicted to crack in order to fund rebels in Central America.
Come on now. Look at that.
Now, brothers and sisters, that's criminal.
Yeah.
If that is not the actions of your enemy, if that is an enemy, then I don't know what an enemy is. How many of us have been affected by the scourge of crack cocaine?
Come on now.
Who have family members that fell victim to becoming addicted to crack cocaine?
Right.
Who have family members, and when we say fall victim, I'm talking about falling victim by being drug users, by being drug dealers that ended up mass incarcerated, or those who were murdered as a result of the warfare that started with the crack epidemic. Black communities were devastated, and nobody gave a damn. But as thou hast done, so shall it be done. So now the white community is being devastated by what they call the white epidemic. Now the white
You talking now?
That's right.
So the minister gave us divine revelation. Those were the receipts. In that climate, we went to D.C. and we produced a miracle.
Yes, sir.
Black men came together.
Right.
Man, I'm looking at the clock.
Come on now. It's all right.
Black men came together.
Yes, sir.
The greatness of the event wasn't just the divine revelation and inspiration and the work that it took. Man, the minister was working feverishly.
That's right. Putting it together.
But the beauty of the march wasn't us going to Washington, D.C., though that was beautiful.
It was.
We wasn't marching in Washington, D.C., but we went to Washington, D.C. to receive our marching orders.
That's right.
The real work was when we came back to our community.
That's right.
And we worked to make our community safe and decent places to live. So people say, well, what did the Million Man March accomplish? Oh, it did a lot, let me tell you.
Come on now.
Now, your enemy's not going to tell you, but it's my job to tell you.
Right.
And then after you know it, it's your job to repeat it.
Right.
It's your job to tell it. It's real from the mountain top. We got to tell all the stories. We have to inspire our children. Don't wait till another 20, 30, 40 years.
Come on now.
And then somebody got to publish a documentary.
Right.
Hidden Colors number 16. To tell you about the Million Man March.
Come on now.
Huh? Nah, let's get in front of that.
Right.
So, after the Million Man March, one of the accomplishments was that there were over 300,000 new or black children that were adopted, who were languishing in the foster care system.
Come on now.
That was one of the initiatives of the Million Man March. The minister asked us to adopt our children.
Right.
Over 300,000
Come on now.
black children got adopted.
Yes, sir.
After the Million Man March, there were gang truce all over the country. Huh?
Right.
Membership in black organizations swell.
Right.
Because the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, being such a beautiful man, he had all those men there who came predominantly because he called.
Right.
Right? But he didn't tell them, all right, soldiers fall in. You know what I mean? I need you to be suited and booted and Farrakhan recruited. I need you to join the FOI. Come on in and be a member of the Nation of Islam. He could have said that, but he didn't.
Right.
He said, go and join an organization of your choice. Huh?
That's what it
He
is.
said, go and join the church of your choice.
That's right.
He said, it don't matter where you go, but let's get organized. Man, what a beautiful man. Black churches swell. Matter of fact, I can say that might have been the seed that sparked the whole movement of the mega churches in Black America. Because black men left and they went and they joined the church. Huh? So you got all these mega churches. Huh? The violence dropped all over the country.
That's right.
Come on.
We had over 1 million new black registered voters after the Million Man March.
Pay attention.
And let me tell you the story, because again, if I don't tell you, nobody else is going to tell you.
Nobody gonna tell you.
The black vote has determined every national election since the Million Man March. Those are facts. Huh?
Right.
Because President Clinton was in office. And the Republicans were hell-bent on getting him out of office. They impeached him. Because of the Monica Lewinsky scandal. But it was the black vote that saved his crooked backside. Huh? Because silly black folks dubbed Bill Clinton the first black president. Because he played the saxophone. Huh? Because he smoked reefer. And because of what he did with Monica Lewinsky. Huh? He's silly. Even though he was the one that passed the crime bill that ushered in this new age of mass incarceration. Black people saved his backside. All praises to God. All praises to God. The spirit of the Million Man March.
That's right, brother.
Right, brother.
After Clinton got his second term, the black vote got Gore elected. Oh, you forgot that Gore won that election. Gore won that election. He won the national vote. Huh? And even the electoral college was too close to call. And the whole election weighed in the balance with Florida, where Bush's little brother was at. And there was all kind of scandals. There was hanging chads. Missing ballots. It was too close to call. So the Supreme Court intervened. And they gave the election to Bush. They stole it from black people. Who were backing Al Gore. Huh? Oh, America was divided. Bush was hated. So what did the government do? They did an insurance job on the Twin Towers. Larry Silverstein bought the Twin Towers. And his head of security was someone from Bush's family. Is that right? He took out an insurance policy on the Twin Towers that included acts of terrorism. And they drove 2 airplanes into the Twin Towers. Huh? And devastated that. And so when Bush stood on the rubble of the Twin Towers and vowed to get revenge, that's when all the hate dissipated. And everybody coalesced and came behind Bush and supported Bush. Huh? And part of it was because since the Million Man March, the Jews have been working to drive a wedge between Muslims and Christians. Huh?
That's right.
Yeah. They were mad. They was challenging the Christians. These were members of the Jewish community. They was calling meeting with Christian leaders and berating them. Christians, a lot of Christian preachers started to go cold on the minister.
Right.
They stopped allowing them to come to their churches. Huh? So there was this anti-Muslim energy going on.
Right.
And y'all remember this Negro in Boston?
Come on.
Eugene Rivers.
Yeah.
You had Negro leaders like this dude.
Right.
Right. Who was nothing but a street preacher.
Right.
He didn't even have a storefront church.
Right.
He walking up and down the street. But this Negro made his bones.
That's right.
Disrespecting Minister Farrakhan.
That's right.
He made his bones opposing Minister Farrakhan.
Go ahead.
That's right.
So when Minister Farrakhan came to Boston to speak to a black men only audience, this Negro organized other leaders
That's right.
and formed their 10-point coalition.
Right.
He was criticizing Minister Farrakhan.
That's right.
And that's all you gotta do to be big.
That's all.
You go out there and criticize Farrakhan, and Jews gonna give you some money.
That's right. Cash.
Now all of a sudden this Negro became a big man.
Right.
They gave him the cover of Newsweek magazine.
Yeah. Check it out. Check it out.
Listen to what this Negro was saying. This was an interview, an article, where he was being interviewed along with Cornel West, who did go to the march.
Come on.
But Rivers criticized Farrakhan. He called him opportunistic. He criticized his opportunistic domination of the event. What a silly Negro.
Right. Silly. Man, please.
How can you be an opportunistic dominating an event that you created?
Right.
That you crisscrossed the country, going city to city, building up the mess, and you, Negro, you was in opposition to it.
Right.
You did not want it to be successful.
Right.
You wanted him to fail.
Right.
But the minister challenged the Christian preachers. He said, you pray to your God.
And I'll pray to mine.
Fail.
Go ahead.
Yeah, my God.
That's right.
See, we trying to say. And you have to know this.
Yes.
The verdict is already out.
Right.
Because they prayed to their God.
Right.
And failed miserably. But our God answered his man. And we had overwhelming success. All praises and honor. How you gonna say, and he's opportunistic? He created the opportunity. He made a lane where there was no lane.
Son. Go ahead, man.
This man been at the forefront of the struggle with black people for over 60 years, consistently. Rivers stressed that the march was bigger than Farrakhan. See, he was one of the ones that was echoing that foolishness. They wanted to separate the message from the messenger. The march was bigger than Farrakhan and labeled him, listen to this, he labeled him as an entrepreneur, taking advantage of a vacuum in black leadership.
Woo. Come
Can you
on.
imagine that?
Yeah, man.
This little street walking, no church having
No church.
Negro.
No church. No church.
Huh?
That's exactly right. Go ahead.
The audacity.
Come on now.
No, the negrosity.
Yeah. Yeah, that's new. Yeah.
Crazy as hell.
Yeah.
Now listen to this insanity. He says, some of us hardliners think he is a gangster living in a palace, said Rivers. If Lou, he disrespectfully called the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan Lou. If Lou starts messing up, we'll mix it up. Huh? See, the Christian preachers, man, that was green with envy after the Made Man March. And that was being sicked upon and sent by the Jewish leadership to attack the Nation of Islam. You had Negroes like Reverend Price,
Yeah.
in Los Angeles.
Right.
Huh? Who started a whole series from his church bashing Islam, the Nation of Islam. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Minister Farrakhan.
Every sermon.
This is from a Los Angeles Times article. Pastor Frederick Casey Price, the Los Angeles prosperity preacher, who commands one of the nation's largest predominantly black congregation,
Sure you're right.
is distorting Islam in an inflammatory series of sermons and setting off conflict between African American Muslims and Christians. Area Muslims charge. Among other things, Muslims say Price is mixing up the racist ideology of Louis Farrakhan's Nation of Islam, God is black, the devil is white, with the egalitarian message of Orthodox Islam, now followed by the majority of black Muslims. See, brothers and sisters, we have all that opposition. But despite that, we the last one standing. We still standing. So this was what was going on at the time. And so when we think about the Million Man March and everything that happened, the black vote I was talking about had won every national election since then. So the black vote put Clinton back in office. The black vote got Gore in office. They stole that. They put Bush in there. But when Bush got in, after the Twin Towers, because of the work that they were already doing to criminalize and get black people to turn on Muslims, when they said that the Muslims blew up the towers, and George Bush was a Christian, conservative, right-wing Christian, and he vowed war on Islam, silly black Negroes and silly black people back George Bush, especially once he started giving that FBI money.
Go ahead,
Well, he was giving FBI money to the churches.
That's right.
Oh, they just remixed it. They called it the faith-based initiative.
That's right.
They was giving money to churches.
That's right.
They made sure ain't none of that money came to the Nation of Islam. To those that were really doing the work. That was backing the churches to try to outshine, outwork, outproduce the Nation of Islam. So when George Bush started giving that FBI money, then he got all the black preachers backing him. So silly Negroes, the black vote again, kept Bush in office.
That's right.
For 2 terms.
That's right. You're right.
But when Barack Obama came along,
Come on now.
who, by the way, was at the Million Man March.
That's right. Go ahead. Say that.
That's Barack right there.
Go ahead.
Barack was at the Million Man March.
Yes, he was.
He was inspired in the Million Man March.
Right.
To run for political office.
That's right.
Is that right?
That's right.
So if it wasn't for the Million Man March,
That's right.
we wouldn't even have Barack Obama.
That's right.
Come on, and it was the minister who encouraged us to go out and register our people to vote.
Right.
So he backed Barack Obama when he ran to be the the senator of Chicago. He came looking for Farrakhan's help. And he got his help.
Go ahead.
All praises due God.
So the black vote.
Come on now.
And when Barack ran, and they made him punk out. Hillary Clinton made him denounce and renounce a man that supported him. But despite being dissed, Farrakhan was the bigger man. And he still spoke kind words of Obama. So the black vote came out. Almost 100% backing Barack Obama.
Come on now. That's
It was the black vote that determined that.
Unity.
Now there were some white folks that participated, but the second term, white folks was hell-bent on not letting Obama get a second term. But the black vote is what kept them there. And the black vote, really, our absence
Come on now. Hey, teach.
is why Trump is in office.
That's right.
Because the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan was dead against Hillary Clinton.
That's right.
Huh?
Right.
Because she laughed that she assassinated. She was behind the assassination of Muammar Gaddafi. And then she laughed and bragged about it. Muammar Gaddafi was a good brother. He was a leader of an African country. He was working on establishing the United States of Africa. He was establishing an African dollar backed by gold and the riches of Africa. He was about to establish one military for all of Africa. Africa was about to be the real superpower that it really is. But they assassinated our brother. Then she had the caucasity to laugh and brag about it.
That's right.
So the minister made it clear, we ain't backing her. And most black folks stood down. They didn't go to the poll. They were not inspired. This is facts. Now, some of you Negroes may be upset about that. But hell, we needed a Trump in office to show you that racism ain't gone nowhere. Because Negroes are working to sleep. We thought we was living in some post-racial America. Some of you silly Negroes are asking after the Obama election, is the Nation of Islam still relevant? And President Clinton had to come to Boston and commended the leadership of Boston for the reduction in violence among young people. But he didn't call Mr. Dunn. He didn't call us. They didn't give credit to the man that marched. They gave credit to all these Johnny-come-lately Negroes. All over America, people try to take credit for the murder rate dropping. They gave credit to the 10-Point Coalition here in Boston.
Come on.
In New York, Giuliani became the people's mayor.
Come on now.
And he still walks around like he did something big because the crime rate dropped in his time, but it had nothing to do with Giuliani. You just happened to be in office. To be the recipient of the spirit and the work of the Million Man March. All the way in L.A., Bill Bratton was the police commissioner.
Yes, sir.
He became a big man. He became a big man because the murder rate dropped in L.A. and they credit his police, his community policing. But the reality is that it was the Million Man March. Black men that went back to their community. These are the murder rates in Boston by year. Now you may not be able to see those numbers, they may be too small. But in 1990 was the highest murder count. We had 143 murders in the city of Boston.
Come on. That's right.
Okay? That was the climate before the Million Man March.
Listen.
But when we look to 1996, the year after the Million Man March, there was only 59 murders.
Drastic drop.
It went from the previous year in 95 of 96 homicides in Boston. In 95 it was 96. In 96 it was 59.
Half.
In 97, it dropped to 43.
Come on now.
Huh? In 1998, it dropped to 34. See, this is the spirit of the Million Man March. Huh? In 1999, it dropped all the way to 31. Huh? So the spirit of the Million Man March brought the murder rate down, and it kept spiraling. And here's the news: that the murder rates have not till this day gone back to what they were in 95 or before. Not just in Boston, but all over America. But no one's giving credit to the Million Man March. We change reality. Your enemy's not going to tell you. That's what I'm telling you. You take it and you go tell it.
Yes, sir.
Tell the world.
Tell the world.
Let this be inspiring to you
Hey, Tony.
to continue to work.
Come on, brother.
So we have to keep the spirit of the Million Man March alive. So I close. How y'all feel?
Fine, sir.
Y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
Are y'all ready to keep the spirit of the Million Man March alive?
Yes, sir.
Well, one of the things that produced that miracle that we seen was that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan made the men to take a pledge. Y'all remember the pledge?
Yes, sir.
Let's remember the pledge. Let's honor the pledge.
That's right.
How many of y'all remember the pledge? Raise your hands. Are we going to honor the pledge?
Yes, sir.
I say today that we recommit ourselves to that pledge. And those that didn't take the pledge, I'm asking you, let's stand up right here, right now, and let's take that pledge one more again. Stand up, black man. I pledge that from this day forward, I will strive to love my brother
I will strive to love my brother
as I love myself.
as I love myself.
Say your name. From this day forward,
From this day forward,
will strive to improve myself
will strive to improve myself
spiritually,
spiritually,
morally,
morally,
socially,
socially,
politically,
politically,
economically,
economically,
for the benefit of myself,
for the benefit of myself,
my family,
my family,
and my people.
and my people.
I say your name. Pledge that I will strive
That I will strive
to build businesses,
to build businesses,
build houses, build hospitals, build factories, enter into international trade for the good of myself, my family, and my people. I state your name. State that from this day forward, I will never raise my hand
I will never raise my hand
with a knife
with a knife
or a gun
or a gun
to beat,
to beat,
cut, or shoot
or shoot
any member of my family
any member of my family
or any human being
or any human being
except
except
in
in
self-defense.
self-defense.
I say your name. Pledge from this day forward,
From this day forward,
I will never abuse my rights
I will never abuse my wife
by striking her,
by striking her,
disrespecting her,
disrespecting her,
for she is the mother of my children
for she is the mother of my children
and the producer of my future.
and the producer of my future.
I state your name. Pledge that from this day forward,
From this day forward,
I will never engage
I will never engage
in the abuse of
in
children,
the abuse of children,
little boys or little girls,
little boys or little girls,
for sexual gratification.
for sexual gratification.
For I will let them grow
For I will let them grow
in peace,
in peace,
to be strong men and women
to be strong men and women,
for the future of our people.
for the future of our people.
I state your name. Will never again
Will never again
use the B word
use the B word
to describe any female,
to describe any female,
but particularly
but particularly
my own black sister.
my own black sister.
I state your name. Pledge from this day
From
forward
this day forward,
that I will not poison my body
that I will not poison my body
with drugs
with drugs
or that which is destructive
or that which is destructive
to my health
to my health
and my well-being.
and my well-being.
I state your name. From this day forward,
From this day forward,
pledge
pledge
I will support black newspapers,
I will support black newspapers,
black radio,
black radio,
black television.
black television,
I will support black the human family.
and for the ends of the human family.
I, state your name, will do all of this.
Will do all this.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Do you mean it?
Yes, sir.
Are you sure?
Yes, sir.
Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Let's move out.
Yes, sir.
All praises to you. Come, beat it. All praises to you. Yes, sir. Let us have a seat. That was a solemn pledge that we took 24 years ago.
That's right.
Let us honor that. And if you forget, every year on this time is the time for us to recommit ourselves
That's right.
to these values.
Yes, sir.
Brothers and sisters, we are winning,
Come on.
You're right.
but the enemy aims to rob victory out the jaws of defeat. Huh? They're not going to celebrate our good work. But you got to keep coming here. You got to stay plugged in.
Come on. Right.
You got to get re-enlivened, re-energized. You have to be inspired
Right.
by what we already did
Come on.
to know the realm of possibility,
Yes, sir.
to inform what we need to do moving forward.
Yes, sir.
So brothers and sisters, with that, I thank you for your attendance. I thank you for your attention.
Thank you, sir.
I pray that something I said was worthy of our today,
Yes, sir.
and I pray that Almighty God blesses you with the light of understanding. I close as I opened up with the greeting words of peace and paradise. Assalamu alaikum.